All right, class, when you get logged in here into week 6, notice we are already on week 6, so this time is flying by. We only have a few more weeks to go, and you guys will be done with this class. You're going to be doing an infographic for me today. I've got a couple of links down here at the bottom. The first part of the instructions here is go to the Venngage website for a detailed explanation what an infographic is. So when you go to that website right there, it's going to take you to this company called Venngage. They make software that builds infographics, which we're not going to use, but they do have a really good example here. The example here is the mystery of yawning. So notice this graphic kind of goes on a little bit. There's 3 sections of it. The first sections of it, gives you just kind of an outline understanding of what yawning is. And they've got a nice huge graphic here of someone yawning, which is definitely what you would want to have. Okay, this should be very visual. Talks about, involuntary opening one's mouth and inhaling deeply due to tiredness or boredom. It's one of those responses, by the way, that you do that you don't really have a ton of control on. I could probably force myself to yawn, but most of the time when it occurs, it's an involuntary response. Like you sometimes don't even know that you're doing it. And if anyone like your mom or dad has been yelling at you about something that you have no interest in whatsoever, and you find yourself yawning, and then they get even madder, yeah, that definitely happens, and it's a thing. So this person here, they put down a few theories on there. They got 6 of them. You can see these would be like bullet points. If you're doing PowerPoint, it would be the same kind of structure. Again, I'm not interested in the content on yawning here. I'm just trying to show you how they laid their infographic out. And then underneath that, what happens when we yawn. So some physiological things here that happen when you yawn. Notice they don't really solve the problem is about yawning. They're just telling you about it and that it's a mystery, right? So they're not trying to solve the mystery. They're just saying, hey, you know what? Here's yawning and here's what happens and here are some theories on why. So that's basically what this is. So I'm just trying to show you this for an example on what to do. What you are going to do, and the link I give you here is that you're going to be going to a place called Piktochart. When you go to Piktochart, it's going to ask you to log in. Use your Google login. Don't create a new login for this site, okay? It's free. You can do 5 visuals. And if you notice at the top here, it says 1 out of 5 visuals created. The video I made just a couple of minutes ago, I already had 5 visuals created, so I couldn't create another one. So I trashed those. So you're not going to do 5 for me. You only need to do really 1. So when you go to create new, it's going to give you an option right here. What would you like to create? Well, we're going to be creating an infographic. So you're going to click on infographics. When you get into that, you're going to see you can create a blank one if you wanted to and start from scratch. Well, they also have a ton of templates over here on the right that you could select from also. And the templates, all have their own little, niches to them. And maybe that meets into what you're looking for, or maybe it doesn't. Just realize that I don't want you to necessarily do, an infographic on working, for example. And let's just say I did use this template. You could make this whatever you want. So here's a person trying to make a decision between 2 different things. So their example is working. Yours could be like doing a pro and con on anything. Let me see if I can get into this. There we go. And then you can change this to make you what you want. And I did this last a couple days ago. So I did dating. So we're going to go, we're going to make this from, we'll say from GHS, or we can change this to dating from, and we'll call this another school. And we'll just call it AS for another school. So we can talk about some of the pros and cons between these 2 things. Commuting, well, you're going to have to go and pick that person up, after school, etc. So that could be a thing that is a pro and a con. Is it good that they're, far away, or is it better that they're here on campus? That's up to you. Communication, well, communicating with someone on campus is pretty easy. You might have some classes together, or, they might not be on campus and you might have to Snapchat them or text them or use whatever, mode you contact them with. What's the flexibility? What's the environment like? Financial costs? How much is it going to cost to date this person, etc. Productive, are they someone who does schoolwork? And like, are they an A student also? Or are they one of those students that might distract you and be like, oh no, don't do your homework, let's do something else. Now, you don't have to use these things necessarily for this whole thing here, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas on what you could use their templates for. So you could make these match up with whatever you want them to. And if you want it, if you don't like this graphic right here, you just click on it and then delete and then insert your own graphic. So when you go to illustrations, notice there's a bunch that show up. You can also go through and search things and try to find them as well. So let's say, for example, you want to date a doctor. Well, we'll just click a doctor here and we'll plop them in here. And it looks like you'd almost put them in a chair. So there are a lot of graphics and visuals that are here for you to use. And this is all free. It doesn't cost anything. When you go to search for shapes, you could probably look up book, and you get a whole bunch of icons that show up as books. And if you want to use any one of those, you just click on it and you can drop it right into your presentation wherever you want. If you don't like the background that you're using right here, that's no problem. Just click on it and delete it, get rid of it, and then make it look exactly how you want it to look. So spend some time on this. Should be a pretty fun activity. The content's totally up to you. One of the other examples that I gave on here was that you could do like, the current U.S. government. You could say like, okay, you could have your own infographic, and at the top would be the president, and then underneath that would be the vice president, and then the cabinet. You could also do the L.A. Lakers. You have LeBron James. Okay, he might be at the middle of the court, and then surrounding him by the court would be the other players with their stats. Maybe a picture of the coaching staff, because they usually don't know who the coaches are because they're not on TV that often. So who are the assistant coaches? Who's the trainer? Who's the doctor for the team? Who's the owner of the team? You can throw all things together. So the infographic, it's kind of wide open. It could be on whatever you want it to do. And that's what I want it to be. If we were doing regular Excel things, I would ask Long, hey, what are you teaching in geography right now? And if she said, oh, we're doing Africa right now, I would be like, okay, let's do the political structure of Tanzania and do that in a chart. And that's what my assignment would be. But we don't have that much time left in the semester to do those kinds of things. So right now, I just want you to build a chart that looks cool and is on something that interests you. So go through this. Shouldn't be too tough. When you get done with your Piktochart, by the way, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to download it. When it goes to download, a PNG file shows up. Okay, that stands for Portable Network Graphic. Okay, when you download this PNG file, it's going to generate it. As it does, it's going to have kind of a funky name to it. At least wise most of the ones that I've seen this week have kind of a funky name. And down here at the bottom, you'll see it's called My Visual 5264 blah 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 PNG. That is the file that you're going to upload to Schoology. So once this is downloaded to your Chromebook, this is what the file that you're going to post. So pay attention to what the name of that file is so you know what to upload. So that's your activity for this week. Let me know if you got any questions.